Masseo, Ryan Walters, along with Paul Nate and Matthew Binns here in the K-League United bunker. Gentlemen, K-League is back.
It is, finally.
It is. I'm so excited. So happy.
Yeah, so this week, this Thursday, it's a holiday. It's a rare holiday start to the season. Feels like Christmas.
Better than Christmas.
Because you get to go out and watch the football midweek.
Because football's real. That's why it's better than Christmas.
That's right.
If you're under the age of 15, or even 12 actually, ask your dad why.
Yeah, they'll tell you
what
what
that joke means.
So we have a lot to get to.
Mm-hmm.
So this is our first of 2 videos tonight. Here in the first one, we're going to talk about the K2 teams. Not going to say challenge, because it's K-League 2, not challenge. So we're going to talk about them. But first, we have a few other things to talk about. Namely, as you may have noticed from this whole getup that we got going on tonight, we do have our own 2018 kits to debut, thanks to Retro Game Bar. So these are our 2018 kits. They are available for purchase. That information is on the website, or you can just stop by one of our FIFA tournaments. So we've got the RGB, the red, green, and blue.
Tennis ball green.
We just wanted to make sure you could really see Matt for this video.
Well, we thought you were going to start doing a lot of cycling.
Yeah.
And the roads are pretty dangerous, so I wanted you to be visible.
I thought I'd start doing
highly visible.
I thought I'd start visiting all of Korea's national parks. And
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, legitimately though, it is a good hiking shirt.
It is.
And Paul and I were talking about it as 2 folks that still play football. It's really nice because you will never have to wear a bib.
Yeah, that's
that
annoying.
case.
A sweaty bib that's never been washed,
that
ever.
somebody else just sweated in and they toss it to you. You don't even catch it next time. Just be like, excuse me, I have my K-League United shirt.
I think we're playing it down. I think it's actually quite a nice shirt.
I like it.
Yeah, it's quite neat.
I'm a fan.
But
So, anyway, these are available. There's information on the site, KLeagueUnited.com. Go check it out. Speaking of kits and the site,
Ooh, this one.
yeah, we have a giveaway going on right now for this lovely kit that Matt has.
So, we met up with Marian Orsulic, and he wanted a big supporter of the site. You might remember our FIFA interview with him. He gave us kindly a match-worn shirt. I can't remember which match he said it was from, but it's actually a match-worn shirt.
We'll find out.
One that they totally won.
But yeah, so he's given us a match-worn shirt, and all you have to do is simply share the Facebook or Twitter post and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
That's it.
The YouTube channel is
youtube.com
/C for channel / K-League United.
It wasn't as smooth as I wanted it to be, but you got to play by YouTube's rules.
Yeah.
But search K-League United on YouTube, you'll find it very easily. So,
and one of the more popular kits in K-League for good reason. It's always classic. It's always... I mean, it's black and white, but it's done so well every year.
I'm not going to mention brand names, but this particular company have had good form in the last few years of making really nice kits. And actually this year is no exception. The new Songnam
is really nice as well.
Both, home and away.
Yeah.
Superb.
So yeah, if you want a chance to win that, then go ahead and subscribe to YouTube. If you're already subscribed, I see June Kim is watching, so hey June, thanks for tuning in. He was already subscribed, so if you're already subscribed, just share the post on Facebook or Twitter, and we'll enter you into the contest. We've had quite a few people in on this one, so make sure you get your name into that hat. All right, moving on. Before we get into the league season, FA Cup is also kicking off
on the
quite
10th.
soon. On the 10th.
Yeah.
And Paul's got a lot of information about that.
Yeah, so at the beginning of the year, before even the K-League has begun, the KFA decided to, well, they've done it the last few years, draw rounds 1, 2 and 3 at the same time, which makes things very complicated. But we do have a rundown of all the fixtures, who would play who, should X or Y team advance. It's all on there. So instead of me trying to explain... there's 54 matches to have a look at, but there are some. It's
glorious FA Cup.
Yeah, in the beginning, in round 1, it's university teams and some of the corporate teams involved. In round 2, you get K3 teams as well, and then finally in round 3, that's where the K-League 2 teams begin. Which I'm quite happy that Daejeon has been drawn away to Songnam. So for
Easy
me,
game to get to.
exactly. So I'm happy
And
with
a nice
that.
stadium.
Indeed. So yeah, have a look.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be a game anywhere, somewhere where you live.
Was there any interesting fixtures you thought in the first round that people should go and see?
There is the Jesus Derby. And I'm going to explain to you why.
Yeah, well, they're excellent at crosses, I believe.
Well, they have to. They've only got one on top, haven't they?
No,
So,
they crucify you in the box.
right, listen. Jesus Hospital FC are at home to Mokpol Christian Hospital FC.
Yeah.
So get yourselves down to John Jew that
You
weekend.
couldn't have written that any better.
Because John Booker are away at Incheon that weekend. So if you're not going to Incheon and you're hanging around John Jew, get yourself down to Jesus Hospital for a heck of a match. I was going to say hell of a match.
Hell of a match. Oh,
Wow.
oh,
Well,
careful.
that's not-
Oh.
Yeah.
And maybe even you can get yourself a health check while you're there.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe.
Aye.
I do think, legitimately, though, the three of us are going to try to get to one of these really early
Hopefully,
round
yeah,
games.
hopefully.
And we don't really have time to dive into the FA Cup and both K1 and K2 in detail tonight, but I think if we're able to get out to one of these early round games, one of the uni games, we'll dive into FA Cup a little bit more than
Speaking-
the tournament that I just absolutely love.
Sorry, speaking of uni,
Yeah.
in round 2, if I'm going to try and find it, Seoul Eland will have a game against one of two university teams in Seoul.
Yeah.
So it'll be a Seoul derby
Of sorts.
of sorts.
Yeah.
So that'll be good.
So
Keep
yeah,
that
FA
out
Cup's
for that.
always fun, and there's always some random team that's going to make their way through.
Hmm.
Last year it was Mokpo. They weren't random; they're National League, but had a really great run. So always the magic of the cup, right? It's always fun.
Right.
Before we move on, can I
Yeah.
just say my favourite name? Jungnan Chorus Mustang FC.
It's no
Top that if you can.
Ulsan Mippo Hyundai Dockyard Dolphins.
Okay, current teams.
Yeah. Anyway, Ulsan Hyundai Mippo Dockyard Dolphins. Anyway, moving on to
Ooh.
teams that actually exist.
Yes.
So let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to be doing here tonight. Again, this is our first of two shows that we'll be doing tonight. This one we're going to be focusing on K2. So what we're going to do is spend 2 minutes per team. We're going to run down their 2017 record, notable moves, keys, or needs, key players, biggest question, and the reason to watch this team. So after we're finished with all that, the three of us are going to give our predictions for how the league table is going to finish, which is unquestionably going to look great come November.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. My prediction last year that Frederick Mendy was going to be the attacker of the year for the league definitely panned out.
I don't even want to know what I said. It would be pretty bad. I think I
Pulled up
definitely
at the
tipped.
break.
I definitely tipped Suwon Blue Wings to win the league, and they know, but that didn't happen, did it?
I think a lot of us did. We'll also be pausing a little bit in between to answer your questions. So I see we've got a few that came in here on Facebook already. So if you're watching on Facebook right now, go ahead and get those in. Or if you're on Twitter and watching on Facebook or whatever, we're going to check these as we go. So by all means, get your questions in. All right. So without any further ado, let's get into this with 6 wins,
Oh god, here we go.
11 draws, and 19 losses, finishing last in K-League Challenge as it was last year. We have Daejeon Citizen. Paul, your 2 minutes starts now.
Okay, so yes, notable moves. One that was very surprising is Filip Holachowski from Songnam. He did quite well last year for Songnam, and then he's won league titles in his native Slovakia. He was the top scorer in the season before he came to the K League. Got 20 goals. Hey, he's a winger of sorts. So to get 20 goals from out wide is superb. Daejeon have got a lot of players from Songnam, at least 4 or 5. Including their new captain, which is Oh Jang-un, An Jae-jun, and Song Hyun. So they had a bit of experience there. And Baek Jong-hwan's also come in from Gangwon. And a young defender who plays for the Korea under-23s, Ko Myung-suk. So he's playing in that sort of under-23 tournament recently. So yeah, we've in terms of incomings, there's been a lot. The squad is, I believe, very big. They still haven't released the squad numbers yet. I think they're still trying to decide who to cut. One thing we know that won't be there is Hwang In-bom. Obviously, he's gone to do his military service. So the key player for me this season would probably be Holachowski, someone who can score goals and provide them from wide areas. Biggest question: can they become relevant again? They finished bottom of the league last year, and that was quite simply unacceptable. They have to at least finish mid-table. Daejeon fans would just want to see some kind of progression from last year. And the reason to watch is simply because they've got a manager making his managerial debut, Ko Jong-soo. He had a decorated career as a player for Suwon Blue Wings. He's won K-League titles, he's won ACL titles, and he was dubbed as the Paul Gascoigne of the K-League. He's that kind of person, flamboyant, but an eccentric character, let's just say. So, because of that, and because of how bad they did last year, people will be wanting to know, can they bounce back?
Well done. Look at that. All right, moving right along with 7 wins, 12 draws, and 17 losses. We have the favorite name of everybody that watches K-League, the Ansan Greeners. Here we go. All right, so for some notable moves from the Ansan Greeners, we have Jung Ki-won. He is an Ansan native, and our Ansan columnist Mike Brandon has pegged him as a possible new fan favorite because he's a local boy. And K-League fans will remember him possibly from 2016 when he helped Suwon FC get promotion that year, for that year. He spent last year in the National League where he netted 5 for Gyeongju, so not a huge return, but he does have experience with a K2 side trying to get them up for promotion. Another notable move, and this one was really interesting for me as an American fan, Sekou Kane, I think is how you say his name. Sorry if I butchered that. He's a Liberian international. He came from the U.S.'s second tier, which is the USL. He played for Bethlehem Steel, scored 10 goals in 26 appearances for them, which is pretty good. He's an important addition because they really need some help up top for Raul, someone we've talked about a lot at K2 games. Which leads right into their needs, which is more goal scorers. Last year, they had the fewest goals in K2 with just 36 goals in 36 games. Raul was the only player who managed to score more than 3 times. Not more than double digits. The only player to score more than 3 times in an entire season. So they need somebody else to kind of step up and get going there.
Good for time, don't worry.
Good for time. Key player. I would like to stray from the obvious, but it has to be Raul here, I think. Last year, he was maybe the reason that they weren't on the bottom of the table. And I think if they're going to have a chance this year, he needs to continue to be that threat up top. He needs help, certainly, but he needs to still be that main man. Biggest question, can they find consistency? Raul was the only one scoring goals last year, so can they find somebody else to do it? And the reason to watch, I think this is a good chance to assess where the Korean football pyramid is, because this is a spine that was mainly made from the Ulsan Mippoldakar Dolphins, and I want to see if they can do it at higher league.
Nice.
Smooth.
Nailed it. All right, coming in 8th place with 7 wins, 14 draws, and 15 losses, Paul is going to tell us all about Seoul Eland.
Yeah, notable moves. They went for a Venezuelan centre forward.
Nice.
Sorry, I cheated a bit there. Daniel Febles, who I believe will wear the number 11 shirt. He is probably a bit of a gamble, but just because of how not unlucky, but how Seoul Eland have failed in some senses of bringing in foreign players. They've managed to bring in players that have failed spectacularly. Some of them, but one of them, one player that I am quite pleased to see that they've signed is someone they've signed from FC Seoul, Cho Chan-ho.
Yeah,
experienced winger. He has won 2 K-League titles. He won at FC Seoul, one at Pohang. He'll bring quality, but he'll also bring a winning mentality as well, which is something that Seoul Eland need, because they've had, other than their first season in 2015, they've been around the lower reaches of the K2 for the last 2 or 3 years. So having a winning mentality is going to be really important for them. In terms of needs, they need to turn draws into wins. 14 draws, obviously it's a draw, so it can go either way. They only got 1 more win than Daejeon last year, which just tells you how bad that was. So turning draws into wins. And I think one player that will help them to sort of keep them tight at the back or keep goals out is their keeper, Kim Yong-kwang, because he's been there from the very beginning. Glory Kim. He's been there from the very off since Eland were founded. He's got a wealth of experience. He's a good goalkeeper, and he will be there to remind players that certain standards need to be upkept, because when there's a lot of transfer incomings and outgoings in a team, an identity can be lost. But he's been there from the very get-go. And biggest question is In Chang-soo. Is he the right manager for the job? They've tried a few managers since. They've all kind of failed. Reason to watch, because Jamshid's a nice place to go.
It is quite an enjoyable place to watch a game. So we're going to take a brief break right here. There were some questions that I saw that came in. So Matt, I think you've been keeping track of those.
So we had something in reference to our Orsolite shirt. John Kim coming in there. He wants to know, will the draw be live?
Will the draw be live? I don't know. Why don't you enter and find out? Maybe.
I think he has entered. But yeah,
yeah, he has entered. That's true.
But yeah, I think we can make it.
do that.
We'll be announcing it. We'll be announcing it when the draw will be in due course. But
yeah, probably maybe this weekend for opening weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe at one of the stadiums, one of the games we're going to.
Yes.
Stay posted.
And just back with Johnny again. He just wants to say that that's a lovely mug, Ryan.
Oh,
What, my face?
Hey.
oh, I assume you mean my Smart Mouse mug.
Yes.
If you'd like to send us some K-League United mugs, then please feel free.
Or mugs you'd like us to use in the video as long
Yeah,
as they're,
actually, yeah.
as long as they're
we-
universal and friendly to all.
They're your name here mugs, basically.
Sure.
Look, we're down to jam jars. Come on. This is how bad it is.
I had a planting an hour ago.
We spent all our
It's
budget on the microphone, and then we have to use jam jars.
It's a bunker. We need jars.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to the next question.
We've got some questions, but we're going to use them for. We're going to talk about them later. But
Okay.
we've got a lot of people watching. So hi to Benny Kim. He misses the K League, and
Don't we all?
He
Don't we all,
agrees.
Benny?
Don't we
He
all?
agrees. Dejan had a very bad time in 2017.
I don't need to be reminded about that. That was
Yeah.
grim.
Well,
We'll come back to the others.
okay.
As
Yeah.
we continue through.
All right. Speaking of a team that had a little bit of a tough time last year with 10 wins, 8 draws, and 17 losses in 7th place, we had FC Anyang, and Paul has them.
Yeah, I do. And yes, they have had a lot of transfer activity because a lot of players have left.
Yeah.
The chairman or the mayor of Anyang wanted to start afresh. He wanted to have a completely new coaching staff, a relatively completely new playing squad, and that's what they've done. Now, they have brought Alex back. He had a spell with Eland.
A good spell.
He did have a good spell, exactly, which will be good for his confidence. He had a good end to the season for Eland, so hopefully for Anyang fans he can come back in and can hit the ground running. They've also brought in Bruno Cantanhede, who I know from Dejon, a very, very quick forward. And actually, when we spoke to Adrian Leia, obviously you two were both there, he mentioned about how hard it was to play against him. And when, as people that watch on that aren't professional footballers make observations, it's nice to have them sort of affirmed by a professional.
Yeah.
When he said, okay, yeah, he was hard to play against, and that kind of tells its own story. And then, so that's at one end of the field. At the other end of the field, and off the field, they have John Soo-hyun is a goalkeeper, signed from Daejeon. I thought he was very solid. Lacked a bit of confidence, but then when you have a defence that leaky in front of you, it's hard not to be.
Yeah.
And Shin Rui-sun, the legendary goalkeeper, is their goalkeeping coach now. So I'm going to talk to you about needs, just time to gel, because it's a completely new thing. Key player. Now, I spoke to Michael Kim, the assistant manager, on Friday, and he said, quite interestingly, in the interview that I on the site, that they agreed, they made a pact that there are no key players. Everybody is important in that squad. So nobody's bigger than the team. Everybody has a role to play. And I asked him, can you make the top 4? He said, I don't see why not. And that is a reason to watch, because they have a squad together. I'm treating a little bit that he feels can challenge for a top 4. Sorry.
That's all right. We're just going to take it out of your time later. FC Anyang is an interesting team to watch this year, and some interesting kits with their checker.
Yeah, it's one of the better kicks out as well, I think, this season.
Big fan of the purple.
Yeah, can I just plug my interview with them again?
I think you just did.
Well, there's 2, isn't there? There's 2. There's one that's very good insight into what happens in a pre-season training.
Really
it is actually.
interesting.
They're both good interviews.
Really interesting about
early reading.
pre-season. Something you don't really
No.
hear much about. So
Well,
yeah,
this is
that's
it.
pretty
I
interesting.
think a lot of fans often wonder what goes on. Why teams is it just for a holiday? Are they going to Thailand just for a holiday? It's not. There's a scientific reason why they go there.
It's
So,
cold
yeah.
here. That's one of the
Well,
reasons.
that helps. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, have a check it out. It's on the site.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of good stuff, I'm expecting good things from our next team this year with 11 wins, 12 draws, and 13 losses. They finished 6th last year. Matt is going to tell us about a team that had an amazing offseason so far in the transfer window, Suwon FC.
Yeah. So, as you said, amazing off-season notable moves. Well, perhaps one of the most notable is one that actually has stayed. Adrian Leia, despite the other 3 foreigners who had been in the Classic with Suwon 2 seasons ago now, he is the only remaining foreigner there, and he's decided to stay for another year, and that's a great coup for Suwon FC. He's a rock in that defence, and I really think that's a good. They've done well to keep hold of him. But also they've got some fresh faces in. Now, probably one of the most interesting ones is Alex Lima. Now, Alex Lima is, as Ryan is alluding to, from the MLS, one of those rare strikers that has come from the American League. Now, he's an ex-Houston Dynamos and Chicago Fire player. Never heard of Chicago Fire, but we luckily do know a bit about Houston Dynamos. We spoke with Dynamo Theory's Alicia Taylor, and she said that he was a box-to-box midfielder, best at breaking up plays and getting balls forward to the attack. So expecting good things from him there in the centre of midfield. Also, another headline move was Kim Dong-chan. Now, what have we've lauded Kim Dong-chan on here before, but yeah, he's transferred from Songnam. And before he joined Songnam mid-season after being in Thailand, but you probably know him best being at Daejeon in 2016. He was the MVP for the league and also the top scorer for the league that season. Fantastic player. He's an established scorer, and he's also got Champions experience from his time at Jeonbuk as well. And one more notable signing before we move on to the next bit. Matthew Alves from Malaysian Super League side Pahang. Well, he's actually on loan there from his Brazil parent club, but okay, let's gloss over that. He scored 18 in 21 whilst playing there. He also played for Gangwon in 2016, scoring 12 and getting promotion in league experience. I haven't even... You're joking. Oh, wow. They need a top scorer.
Dong-chan, done.
Lee Sung-yeon is the key player.
He's class.
Biggest question, is Kim Dae-lee capable of meeting Suwon's promotion objective? He's a brand new manager, high school manager, former Blue Wings player. They've backed him. Adrian Leia's stayed. It bodes well. Reason to watch is also that.
Well done.
And cheap season tickets. I can see the notes.
I put in cheap season tickets, and that is another thing, and that goes a lot across these challenge teams. 60,000 or $60 the equivalent of if you're watching from overseas for a whole season, all FA Cup games and league games.
You can spend $150 to get the season ticket and a really sharp Suwon FC kit. So if you're in the Suwon area and looking for a team to support, you could get Blue Wings or these guys. I think
red and blue stripes like Barcelona.
Yeah, in no way looks like a Barcelona kit. Don't worry.
But apologies for that. It was a bit cut for time, but there is such a big team this season. You should be looking at them.
A lot of fun. Yeah, really looking forward to seeing them. So moving into the playoff positions soon. Moving into the playoff positions with 15 wins, 7 draws, and 14 losses. I'm going to be talking about Bucheon 1995 FC. And I'll wait for the beep because there we go. So notable moves for them. Unfortunately, most of their notable moves are outgoing moves. Notably, Wegoninho, who we've already talked quite a bit about at ACL. He's looking really good with Suwon Blue Wings. He made the jump up to the first division. But moving on in a big way is nothing new for Bucheon, but that was the big outgoing move this year. Coming in, they have a player that I think fans of our site or just fans of K-League in general will remember, William Pop. He played for Busan, had a really strong season for them. He was our 2016 Goal of the Year winner, so shout out for him on that one.
One accolade.
He actually led the voting for that. He went off on Instagram and got a lot of votes. Anyway, he had 18 goals in 38 matches for Busan that year. He's only 25 years old. He was over with Fukuoka last year in J-League. It did not go that well, and now he's back in a league that he knows, where he's comfortable, so I think he could be a decent addition for them, but filling Wegoninho's shoes is going to be really big. Which leads into needs. Midfielder Cho Bom-suk and Cho Soo-cho both left to complete their military service this year, and they both did a lot to control the tempo of the game. So there's a lot of need in that midfield right now to replace the two of them. If they're going to get it sorted out and get into playoff contention, they're going to have to figure out that midfield really soon. Key player, I'm going to steal from our Bucheon columnist, Alistair Middleton here, and say Jin Chong-soo. He is the midfielder that might be able to fill that gap on his own. He does a really good job box to box, and he can also bang in a couple of goals. So he could help with the with the attacking inconsistencies that might show up. 17 seconds, good lord, it goes fast.
Yes.
Biggest question for Bucheon this year, can they make a playoff run? I don't think they have it in them to win the league, but this team's been close every year. They need to make that run in the playoffs. Reason to watch. Can they actually do that? Can they get up there and do it? And they have a brand new stadium coming that looks amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
That's fair. That's fair.
It looks really great. And they're actually taking some of the stands from the Olympics and moving them over for the stadium. So reduce, reuse, recycle. Good job, kids. All right.
Get your breath back.
Moving on to fourth place with 13 wins, 14 draws, and only 9 losses. Last year was the most successful club in Korean footballing history, Songnam FC. And after a lackluster season in 2017, former Jeonbuk striker, winger Eder has made the move over to Songnam. He is one of their most notable moves. He might not be able to break in with the likes of Kim Shin-wook or even last year Edu, who had a really strong year for Jeonbuk. He might not be able to jump in front of them, but I think he'll hop right into this squad, and it'll be interesting to see what he's able to do because he didn't necessarily light the world on fire at Jeonbuk, and the year before that with Daegu he didn't have a ton of goals, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. As notable as his addition is, I think it's also really notable that we talk about Kim Dong-jun, the keeper that just somehow keeps staying at Songnam. This is as good as any incoming transfer that they could have had. He is the reason, in my opinion, that they were the league best, the second division league best, with only 30 goals against last year. Rock solid keeper. He's earned his way onto the Korean national team.
And because of this ban as well.
And
Marino
because of
Slic.
Marino Slic. Well, we're coming to that. All right.
Sorry.
So needs. They need some proven goal scorers. Like I said, Eder isn't necessarily a proven goal scorer. He had 3 last year, 6 for Daegu the year before that. So 9 in 2 years isn't exactly lighting the world on fire. And last year they only had a single player with double-digit goals, so they're going to need somebody to step up and start scoring some more goals because they weren't conceding, but they just were not scoring last year. Key player. I'm just going to leave this brief. Kim Dong-jun. Again, I think as good of a season as Orslich did have, Kim Dong-jun has done a really great job of organizing that back line, and he's just a pure shot stopper. A lot of fun to watch. Biggest question, is this their final year in K2? They're the most storied team in Korea. Can they get out of there? And the reason to watch, Kim Dong-jun. He might be a Korean national team goalkeeper sooner than later. A lot of fun to watch him play.
Reason to watch the magpie that comes out with
The
smoke.
smoking eye magpie behind the goal.
What do you need?
Nothing. We're going to see it soon enough. All right. Moving along to a team that I think quite highly of going into this year. With 15 wins, 9 draws, and 12 losses. In third place last year was the military side Asan Magunghwa, and Matthew is going to talk about them.
Here we go then. Right. So, notable signings. The headline ones were Lee Myung-ju from FC Seoul, a top-class midfield striker, came to FC Seoul on loan last season just purely so it could facilitate this move. He shouldn't be in the second division, but fair dues, he's there. Let's use him. Got Ju Sejong as well from FC Seoul, another Seoul regular. You're wondering what's happening to Seoul's midfield at this moment. We'll get to them later. Ko Mu-yeol from Jeonbuk, a former Young Player of the Year a few years back. Didn't light the world on fire at Jeonbuk, and probably not why he's been picked up by Sangju. But he is a player that needs game time, and he might just get it here. He was excellent when he was at Pohang. I'm sure he could refine that form at Asan. Most interestingly, though, is Hwang In-bom from Daejeon. Young age, surprisingly, but going to Asan to get his military service out the way so he could perhaps facilitate a move to foreign shores later on. It's a heck of a midfield. Anyway, so what they need? Well, not a lot actually, but what if they did? The nature of the police side means
They can't sign anybody.
Yeah, they can't sign anyone. It's whoever's ready for military duty. But they should be suited and well booted for a promotion push.
Bloody hell.
Key player Lee Jae-an and Han Lee-gwon are not my key players, but they were the top 2 scorers from last season. They are still in the squad, but I think I'm going to have to go for Lee Myung-ju. I think that is such a coup for that team, and his role in central midfield could prove pivotal in holding that team together, I think. So the question, can they get promoted this year? This question always surrounds the police team because they're always up there and they're always pushing. They've got another good team this year, and this team will be here for the full season. Most of them are new signings. They're not going to leave midway through. But can they actually get promoted? We don't know because we've never had that before with them, and we'll see what the K-League does. But that is a reason to watch them. Also, they're promotion favourites. They should be able to play some attacking football.
You need to watch just that midfield.
That
midfield could be one of the best in the K League One. Never mind in the K2. That's a ridiculous midfield.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun watching them. Speaking of teams that are quite a bit of fun to watch, last year this team was quite a bit of fun with 19 wins, 11 draws, and only 6 losses, and that was Busan I Park. Paul is going to talk about them in 4, 3.
Yeah, we all know about what happened with Busan I Park last year. Sadly, their manager passed away, and unfortunately, I think most people wanted them to at least win the FA Cup because they were in the final, or at least win promotion. Neither happened, so they're back to square one, and they've lost quite a lot of players. In Sang-hyop has gone to Suwon Blue Wings, as we've already seen in the ACL. Lee Jung-hyop has gone to Japan. Danny Moraes has left, and Don Sokwa have also left. But they've also brought in a bit of experience with Kim Chi-yu, the left fullback from FC Seoul, Lee Jong-min, who's the new captain. And in terms of foreign players, Jonathan Balotelli, which to me sounds like a football manager regen name. But he's got European Champions League experience, albeit in the qualifying stages. He's got pace and is tall, apparently, according to certain scouting reports. And then they've also got Alamao Jr., who has been scoring quite regularly in Serie B in Italy and in the Dutch second division. So, in terms of needs, a clinical goal scorer. I mean, we don't know when you sign a foreign player into the league, will they adapt? That is also a big question. Should they have gone for William Pop? You already mentioned him. He signed for Bucheon already. He scored 18 goals in 2016. Why, if he was going to come back to the K-League, why weren't Busan in for him? Now, our Busan writer, Tom, he's picked Lee Jae-kwon, the older brother of Lee Jae-sung, of John Book, plays in centre midfield and is a classy player who pulls the strings and could be a really important player for them. Biggest question, obviously, can they go up? Their manager said in the press recently that he's not even just targeting promotion, he wants the title. He wants to win the league. Reason to watch, because they have exciting players like Lee Dong-jun, who is a fast winger, and Kim Moon-hwan. Could be an exciting team to watch again this year.
Look at that. So that was it for the teams that were in the second division last year, but this year we have a team that's found their way into the second division by recording 6 wins, 12 draws, and 20 losses in the top flight last year, and that is Gwangju FC, who find themselves back in the second division, and Matt's going to take them.
Okay, so Gwangju are another club with an inexperienced manager. They've brought in Park Jin-sup after the rescue job by Kim Hak-bum failed last season. Now, Gwangju were miserably relegated. They were just poor in attack, poor in defence, but they did play some nice passing football. To the attack, they've signed Minori Sato, a Japanese attacker who spent most of his career in the Europeans' less famous leagues and also Middle East divisions. He's experienced, he's played predominantly at Latvian clubs, notably winning the championship with FK Ventspils in 2011. We can get past it. Another signing they have signed is a Brazilian called Gil, Gil. Now, he is from Serie B, Brazilian Serie B's Boa Esporte. He's scored no goals for them. In fact,
how do I have lost
he scored 9 goals for Gangwon though in 2015.
There you go.
There it is.
But they were his last goals. So he hasn't scored in 3 seasons, and he is back here to help get Gwangju promoted. They've also got Im In-hyuk, Kim Jung-hwan, who are sole midfielders, but not the sole midfielders you would name.
He's good though.
He's good. He's not bad, but
sorry,
not my go-tos. And there's also a collection of Mokpo and Uni players. Mokpo are all right, but yeah, the biggest question is attack and defence probably too. They were a bit of a mess last year, but with the main scoring outlet gone in Wanderson, I don't know who's going to step up there. Probably the main player, and I'm going to use Branko's choice on this one, who's done the preview on our site, is An Yong-kyu, defensive midfielder. He's returned from Asan. He won the title with Ansan when Asan were Ansan, and he played regularly for that club in the Classic until 2015. So he hasn't featured much since his return, but he might have a strong presence this year. Question, how bad was the damage from last year? There's been a lot of fallout, and I don't think they've brought in decent enough players to get them back up. But it's a nice city. Go and have a look.
And they have a stadium named after a Dutch legend, Gus Hiddink.
They do play in a World Cup stadium. That's quite nice from the outside. The field's been in rough shape for a while, but Gwangju is a
I haven't been there
lovely
yet.
weekend.
I haven't been there yet.
Lovely
But
weekend.
when they got relegated, when the pictures came out, that was one of the first ones that I looked for Dejon away. I'm going to go to that one, definitely.
So if you can time it where you can do a Kia Tigers game and a Gwangju FC game, that's a
We're
nice
talking
weekend.
Yago.
Thank you for watching.
If you like the video, go ahead and click on his face to subscribe, and you can be entered for a chance to win this match-worn Marin Orslich kit just by subscribing and sharing the post. Again, click on his face.